Good evening. This is Cab here to drive you crazy, and welcome back to another edition of Cab's Drive-In Review. This one for the Netflix series All of Us Are Dead. And just a quick overview of what it is that it's a Korean-based zombie apocalypse with a little bit of that Korean drama twist added into the show as well. If you want to hear my review, I will be talking about it at first, and then I will be going more into a spoiler talk a little bit later on in the video. If you want to go directly to the spoilers talk of it, I will leave the timestamp right there right now, so that way you can just jump right ahead. If not, just listen into what you want to give me opinions on giving some reviews for this particular show. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So the basis of this is a son who is constantly bullied in his high school, and the dad, who is a science teacher in the school, tries to give him the ability to fight back against the bullies. In doing so, he ultimately creates a virus that overcomes the body, and what makes the students in this school become extremely violent and aggressive, and ultimately zombies. The way I like to look at this particular show is that it does have a lot of good points to it, but at the same time it becomes kind of boring in certain points of it. I would definitely say from the first 8 episodes, it was one of those where you can watch it, it becomes interesting, and you can get a sense of wanting to see where everything is going down to, but at the same time it's almost kind of repetitive to things that you may have seen before in other movies or TV shows, video games. I could start listing off a few of my personal favorites, like Zombieland, World War Z, Walking Dead, Left 4 Dead for a video game. Even an anime of mine that was a favorite was High School of the Dead. So ultimately, I could just say all the things that I just listed is what this one show is. You deal with the high school dramas, and you deal with the panic that happens in a small contained area. That is the one big difference between some of the other ones and this particular show, is that it's not really spreading as crazy as it is, because it was only 2 places that it really started before it started to overtake an entire city. But ultimately, all I have to really say about it is it does get a little boring in the first couple of episodes if you're willing to listen into it, because it does have really good points. Some of the things that I would definitely say throughout the first 8 episodes that caught my attention a lot is how well informing the show can be, talking about how viruses can find ways to make themselves be able to survive out any kind of cure, or being able to adapt to certain things. And that was what really made a lot of the talk about it more interesting. And then the points of overcoming certain deaths, or finding ways to outweigh the bad versus what the good is. And that to me is what really stuck out for this particular show. But I will definitely say ultimately I'm only going to give this a 7 out of 10, just because it does have a long way to go with the first 8 episodes before you get to episodes 9 through 12 that really become more interesting. When it's 12 episodes and basically an hour per episode, it kind of can take a long time to get to things that will make you feel more interested in it. Unless you really are into drama, then you can find ways to be more interested into this. But I would definitely say I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for right now. And right now, we'll go right into the spoiler talk. So, I do like the way that they decided to get into, what made the virus to start off. There's a lot of shows that will say, oh, it started off because of a rabid monkey, versus shows that are like, we still have no idea how this even started in the first place. All we have to do is just figure out how to survive it. So at least that's a good point that was brought up to keep you at least interested in knowing how it started, and as well as how they're going to continue on giving the videos from the scientists to say the progress that he was going through to try and ensure that he was going to figure out how to save his son and the wife, as well as try to figure out what the cure is going to be. Now, obviously, it comes down all the way to the very end when we find out that there is no cure to it. It's just eliminate the person that has the virus, so that way you ultimately do not go insane just like all the rest of them. And hello, my baby. And I think the one thing that really was so unique about this one too is how they are actually people, and as they will mention it in the episodes, asymptomatic to the virus. And it makes it that much more interesting, I think, for me, that they actually make it in a way where not just everyone becomes, the zombie. They actually have people who are going to become, able to fight it off, but at the same time still be able to spread it, which is what is so, scary. And of course, it comes down to it being some of the people that you would never want it to have been. From the bully to the girl who's suicidal, and obviously all the way down to Namra, who is the president, who you get to see is, still quite good. Don't get the table. I'll say, like, the drama part to it really was not in my personal favor. I didn't like how the love sense of the show was really like forced instead of it being like organic. How they have like the flashbacks of the friends showing how they had a really great friendship growing up, but you never get to experience any of that. They just throw in flashbacks for you so that way you can be like, okay, they have a great bond, cool. The only one that I would say that was really the one that got to me, at least, was the mom. The one that they show, like how the mom is showing so much support for the son, and she was the one who I believe was more the emotional one for me, especially because I have, a daughter, and I could almost see how it could be for like a parent to do what they do. Other little things is, I don't like how a lot of the episodes ended. They always didn't give it like a cliffhanger kind of ending. It was always just a very okay, this is the scene and stop. Like the scene where Bully's throwing the knife and you see it like hit the guy in the back, and all of a sudden credits. Like, I guess that's what you can consider a cliffhanger, but I mean, at the same time, that just seems so abrupt. Like, not like Squid Games, where a lot of the stuff was like, oh, you know what, I gotta see what the next episode is now. Versus like this one where it's like, okay, the guy's got a knife in his back, more likely. And then you find out, oh, okay, he didn't get a knife in his back, whatever. So, to me, it is a good show. I didn't like the last episode's ending either. Like, yeah, it shows that there can be a lot more of the asymptomatic kind of people out there that could be found, and good thing to see that we were able to find Namra and all that. But one of the things that just made it so weird is just, okay, she just jumps off the edge of the building and then that's it. Just like I said, like every single episode has just such a weird way of ending the episode that it's almost a little off-putting in a way. So it's one of those where I'll definitely say I stuck by it when I say I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Well, then stop kicking the table, please, please. But really, I will recommend watching it. It's not as good as what I think Squid Games was, so ultimately it's not going to be as popular, I think, but it definitely is extremely popular right now for those who are into dramas, you know, a newer version of zombies. But thank you once again for watching my review. If you liked it, please hit that like button. Anything to suggest in the comments, please type it down there. And of course, to continue following on with us, please hit the subscribe button for more content. My name is Cab, and I'm here to drive you crazy. Aloha, God bless, and take care.